So, we have an awful lot of new content coming to Darktide in their first ever content drop since the game's release, where we shall see once again a metric ton of patches, tweaks, new weapons, and a few new game modes. So first things first, stability. Fatshark is still actively investigating the GPU related crashes as a #1 priority, targeting this first in order to create a smoother, less crashy and buggy experience for its users. The penance progress when not updating and when completing missions is still very frustrating, which needs fixing, but they are actively researching into it. Errors 4008 and error 2007 are still under active investigation as to the cause of the crashes. However, they will be implementing measures to counter the frequency of error 2007 crashes in the game, and Twitch drop connectivity is also being improved by improving account relations and connectivity. If that's your thing, then good news. I'm not fussed about it since I don't really bother watching streamers unless they're my friends anyways. The issues that they are currently fixing are as follows. The contract progression should now be stabilised in this update. If not, they're more likely to carry over as some form of progression on completion of matches instead of getting nothing at all. And penances shall once again receive a fix so that the criteria for completing them is more transparent and clear, and also penance completion tracking is being looked at to ensure that we receive the correct gear relating to the correct penance once we have done so. The lovely premium cosmetic shop, which timer ran out roughly a week ago, is not receiving any new content but is still being worked on. Now in the patch notes they mentioned saying that their plan for the shop is to give gamers more time between rotations. Allow me to translate that for you. They don't have any new content for us since the timer ran out, hence the removal of said timer. And secondly, they will not be implementing another timer until you have 3 pages worth of cosmetic items per class, so as to avoid clutter and causing confusion. Allow me to translate that for you again. We want at least 3 pages worth of cosmetic items to allow our players to spend more, instead of the previously issued "we're worried about confusing our player base with too much clutter." There was never any clutter to begin with, just the criticisms when it first released, and we're not going to be confused, we just want more. But whenever they get round to that, I don't really know. I'm not complaining, but will I be buying cosmetic items? Most likely not, but if that's your thing, then by all means go for it. And they will also be implementing the 100 and 2400 Aquila packs respectively, so now we can top up as you wish, and we can now buy packs without having any excess Aquilas running over. On to the new content. We're going to be seeing a few new additions to the game. We're going to have 2 new weapons, the Indignatus Mark IV E Crusher, which is their 2-handed power maul for the Zealot class, and the Achilles Mark I Power Maul, which is a 1-handed melee weapon for the Ogryn. We're also going to be seeing the implementation of private games. How this works is when you select a mission, you will have the option to play solo, private or public. In order to play private, you need 2 or more players in your strike group. 2 or more players can launch the game in private, and the spare slots will be taken over by bots. But if a player disconnects in a private match, leaving just 1 player in, and they do not return in a pre-designated time slot, the private game will be made public instead. This makes sense because it saves loads of private servers being taken up by other players, so I have no complaints on that. I think it's a perfectly reasonable system. And Item Refine will now be available in the Shrine of the Omnissiah. This will allow us to change the blessings on our items at their current rarity without the need to consecrate them. They will use the same resources, plasteel and diamantine, so this just means that you can now re-roll to your heart's content to find the perfect desired combination of blessings. Each singular perk will have a star rating from 1 diamond to 4 diamonds, indicating how good the upgrade is. And with each upgrade, as it says in the notes, the amount of resources required to do so will be reduced, meaning the more upgrades, the less it's going to cost. We'll also be seeing 2 new mutations coming to the game that will be dropping on the 15th. The first is Hunting Grounds. Now, I hope you like poxhounds because you're about to be slaughtered with increasing packs upon packs of hounds. Whether the other elites will be in the mix remains to be seen, but it does sound like a lot of fun, so I do look forward to that. And the next one is Assault. Now, Assault is a mutation where we're going to have more ammunition, less healing opportunities, and more enemies, which is perfect for those contracts where you have to kill more enemies for the challenges. Next on, they did mention about having emotes. Now, who doesn't love a good emote? I think that how Darklight plays and the current social interaction system is a bit limited at the minute, so I'm happy to hear that an emote system is going to be put in place. However, do we have to buy them? Are there standard, rare, epic, and legendary emotes? Will I have to buy them using premium currency? Now, the logical thing to do would to give players a base amount of emotes from the start, with the chance to buy them at the armory exchange in order to give some more emotes, a feeling of value and rarity, or alternatively, just give them all to us and add more over time, depending on how they're received by the players. There has also been speak of having shared progression and shared auto dockets across characters. Now, Fatshark are currently in the process of considering sharing auto dockets and resources across accounts, making the buying and upgrading processes much smoother and easier for players who need gear for their low-level character, which makes sense in theory. It sounds good in practice. However, I'm not sure how they're going to do this, since this seems like like an easily abusable system. Play a mission with your level 30, make a lot of money, then use a lower level character to spend them. But that's their choice to do so, so whether they'll go back on this or not I cannot say, but it does sound like an interesting system, which I would not mind coming into play. And finally, patch notes 1.0.20. Now, like I said at the start, we are going to be seeing a literal truckload of patch notes introduced with a variety of things ranging from stability to user interface and everything else in between. Coming in at a lovely 101 bullet points worth of patch notes. Now, I'd love to spend forever listing them one by one, but I'm sure you'd be bored to death with it. But there are a lot of interesting things in there, so it's 100% worth a read. The entire article will be left down below in the pinned comment, in the description, and in the card here. Now, if you're still playing and loving Darktide, then let me know what you think of it at the moment. I'm 104 hours in, and I still 100% love it. So like and subscribe to support my work, if you'd be so kind, and I will see you on the Morningstar. Take care, and bye-bye.